Family was huge. All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope you had a fantastic week. We've had a busy one. Been going here, going there, going everywhere.
Yeah.
Had to go back to Indiana for a funeral. Grandma passed. It was sad, but I mean, she was 85, and it's eventually going to happen to all of us.
Yeah.
So
She had a good life.
she had a super good life.
Really good life, good
Tons
family.
of kids, tons of grandkids.
She's the oldest of 10. And then she had 8 children.
Yeah. So
And-
family was huge.
And like she was the oldest, and like one of his uncles said, like it happened in the right order. Like she was the oldest, she died first. None of the kids or grandkids died before she did. So
Right. So it kind of went the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
At least how we think it's supposed to go.
yeah.
Right.
But she had a really good life. She went relatively quickly. So
Right.
she was a great, great lady.
She was full
We
of
loved
laughter, loved everybody, always made you feel welcome.
Yeah.
So can only hope to be as good at that as she was.
I know.
And sorry if we sound a little off today because, well, neither one of our ears popped on either one of our flights back. So, and they still haven't popped, and it's been at least a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Like it's-
super fun. Well, it sounds like my head is underwater
Yeah.
as I'm talking.
Underwater,
Yeah, it's so
and they tell me
fantastic.
to breathe easy.
So, that's been a
Yeah.
day.
I feel fine otherwise, but
Yeah, me too.
because it's all like clogged, I think it's like I can breathe just fine. I think it's just all like sinuses, and so the sinuses are
Just
being
sinus
affected.
pressure.
But there were other people on the plane. It wasn't just us. I
Didn't
think
have a private flight? No way.
no. There were other people that had ear issues as well. So I think there might have been like a pressurization issue in the
have been.
plane. Because usually it's just like babies that have an issue, but you could see people just like,
Well, and I usually never have an issue with ear stuff on
Right.
planes and such. I mean, at the most it's ever been is only like once. Is like it never popped all the way down, and then once we touched down on a runway, it popped, and then it was fine. But yeah,
Right.
this is crazy.
yeah. Days later, man.
Days later,
Days later. Still
well, they got the lovely
sound like my ears are what?
lovely experience of snow in Indiana once again.
Oh my goodness. So my mom sent me a message Thursday morning. We flew out Valentine's Day. Happy
What a
Valentine's Day.
gift, right?
And we and then my mom sent me a message the next morning, and she's like, guess what? And they had gotten snow. And I was like, excuse me? The day that we leave, and that's when Washington gets snow, our part of Washington. And so I was really sad about it.
I was not upset.
I was really sad about
I was
it.
happy.
Pardon me. And guess what? It snowed in Indiana.
Then I was upset.
I was so excited. We got more snow than they did here in Washington, and it stayed. It stayed the whole time.
Well, it was also frigid. It was like 13 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, at the we were gonna have graveside like thing, and then all that. And they decided to have it inside the chapel mausoleum thing.
At the graveyard.
At the graveyard, because they were not prepared for people traipsing up the hill in snow. So,
Well, it's not like everybody there was exactly a spring chicken either.
yeah.
So,
But it was good. We got to see family, got to reconnect with family.
yep.
I'm so excited. Christopher got to hang out with his brothers for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, it was good.
Cute little guys. They're old. They're like 30 to 37. They're not.
Yeah, nobody's young.
They're not
anymore.
kids, but they're just adorable. I love them so much already. I hope they come see us, boys. If you're watching, come on out. Yeah, we got to hang out with family that we see quite often and we just adore. So yeah, it was just got to see my bestie in Indiana. She and her family drove down to Indianapolis to see us. So that was great. It was great to like breathe the same air as her.
Okay, serious letdown though.
What?
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I don't
Get it together. It was gross.
I don't know if it's all of them, but that one, it was a little sad. I was really excited.
Don't sugarcoat it. It was gross.
Okay, it's fine. Now we just know to not go to that one again. People have off days.
Ugh.
But we got to see them and the kids, and it was so great. And we got to see our daughter a couple times.
Yeah, it was
We got to meet her girlfriend Jordan. We got to Christopher wore a handsome suit. Handsome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was like plaid and not gold camel.
Yeah.
Plaid suit with a black button up.
Mostly blue, though. It was not like
Mostly blue.
a brown plaid.
No, it was mostly blue. And oh, so handsome with brown shoes. Yeah, everybody was like, wow, that suit looks nice. We're like, yeah,
It brought
I
out the
know.
color in my beard.
I know. And the color of your eye, like it just popping. I had a black dress on with a black, was that cardigan?
Yep. A huge shout out to the seamstress lady at K&G in Tacoma because she knocked it out in just a couple
got-
hours.
yeah.
Well, it was a short notice that I needed a suit. So Good on
Well,
her.
he didn't have to have a suit, but we're like,
I felt
needs
like
one
I had
anyway.
to have a suit.
You
so
know.
I had to have a suit.
it was a pallbearer for his grandma. He was also a pallbearer for his grandfather 19 years sooner. Or
22.
Sooner. Oh, 22 years earlier. He was 19. And he said it was a lot easier because this time he wasn't
Well, it was
the oldest
grandsons.
at 19.
It was the grandsons that did it both times. So there had been some maturing for the rest of the grandkids.
Muscly maturing,
Yes.
which is fantastic.
Which was very nice. Mm-hmm. Not nice that somebody died, but you know, when you have to do the thing,
Obviously.
it's good to have strong people.
True that. But it was a good weekend. It was good.
It was definitely jam packed.
It's nice to be home. Nice to go back to work. Well, I love my job. I love my job. But I would definitely take a few more days just hanging out with you alone. We didn't really get to spend much
Yeah.
time together this weekend. So I missed that. We were cuddling on the couch yesterday. I'm like, oh, hey, bud. Hey. So,
Yeah, I mean that's something really is
pardon me.
what do you hold on to when you don't have a lot of time to connect with one another?
What do I hold on to?
Yeah.
Your hand.
Well, yeah, but like when we don't have a lot of time to really sit down and connect or just hang out and be with one another, what's something that I don't know keeps you going?
Keeps me connected to you.
Yeah.
I made his coffee every day so that he felt loved and connected.
That was nice.
Yeah. And he opened all the doors for me. I mean, he usually does, but it's just nice to have like those little moments.
Yeah. Where you still, even though you don't have a lot of time, but you still do things for one another.
Mm-hmm. What
Like,
about you?
hey, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just you being around was good.
Like being there with you during
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was good.
And
I was really glad that we were able to swing
Both of us going.
Both of us going, because it would have been a lot more stressful had it only been me. So
Yeah.
it made it very nice that, my emotional support human was there.
Yeah, I was. I was emotionally supporting. I
Yeah.
was doing a good job.
And it really let me know, not necessarily let me know, but reinforced the value of having somebody in your life that can be that for you when you're going through something tough.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
honey.
because it's a good thing to have. Uh, Especially if you're going to be in a long-term relationship,
That's the hope.
you've got to have somebody. It is the hope, but doesn't happen for everyone,
Yeah.
right? That you have somebody when you get in those stressful situations that knows what buttons to push to calm you down and to help you get through the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's other times where you could be in a relationship where you get in those things and the other person knows the buttons to push to like ramp you up, and that's not necessarily a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
That is true.
Could just lead to a worse situation.
You just got to learn how to be each other's peace. Other than the Lord, obvi.
Well, yes, but
Yeah. I think that's part of like knowing each other, spending time together.
and the wanting to get to that point,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because if you don't have the want to get to that point, you're never going to change.
Well, and the want to know your partner well enough. Like, take the time to figure out, like, who you are and
Right.
how to calm you down. We had to sit separately on the plane back, the first one. And it was really stressful for me. It was, I just, I don't mind travel. I love travel. There's a certain part of being on a plane that makes me really nervous. And that happened. And Christopher was right behind me. So I'm like freaking out. And I'm like holding it together, obviously. Like I'm around strangers. I'm not going to go crazy. But internally, I'm just like freaking out. And I was like, if he touches me right now, I will probably bawl. And it was probably, and at that point, I was able to calm down and I was like, it's going to be fine. Like it's not as embarrassing as what you think. Oh, sorry about that. It's just, I am a bigger female. I'm a bigger person. And sometimes I get very, very nervous about putting on a seatbelt and hoping that I don't have to like struggle to put it on. And usually I have Christopher there so that if I need him to like, I don't know, cover while I'm like putting my seatbelt on or any of that, he's like there. And he wasn't there. So I just was like, it was just a very like I don't want to say triggering. It was a very difficult moment for me. And anyway, a few minutes later, after I had fully calmed down, I feel this like hand on my head, just petting my head, just making.
I was right behind her, just so you guys know.
Yeah,
It wasn't some random.
It wasn't some stranger going, nice hair. No, it was Christopher. He was right behind me. Yeah, and I was just like, okay. I feel like I'm very like, capable person. There are some times where I just,
Yeah.
I needed an emotional support human, and it came through.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say triggering. I would just say stress-inducing moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could tell you were stressed. I was stressed. I mean, that flight was not exactly comfortable for me because I am not exactly narrow shouldered,
Mm-hmm.
and I was luckily one guy on one side was very narrow shouldered, but the other guy on the other side of me was definitely wider than
shouldered.
his seat.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's a
that's
stressful thing. You're like, oh, that's hard. Because then you don't want to get into their space. You don't want to.
well, and he was making no attempt to be any type of smaller, so
Yeah.
it just was what it was. But we got through it, and the next one we got to sit together. So I mean, there are some benefits to open seating with Southwest, but there are some like not so great benefits. And if you're not willing to pay to be further up in the open seating spot, I mean, that's kind of what you have to deal with sometimes when
Yeah.
every seat is full and you get on and the only thing that's open is middle seats on the whole plane.
Well, and normally, as soon as it says like it's time to check in, we check in and we're at like the middle of B, or the beginning of B, and then our second leg is somewhere in the middle of A.
Right,
And
middle to end of A.
this time we went out to dinner, after so it was like the
still
funeral.
within like 10 minutes.
Huh?
It was still within like 10 minutes.
No, it wasn't. It was 11 o'clock.
What,
Not
whatever
at 6
it was.
o'clock. It was 5 hours later.
Same.
It's not the same. We were out to dinner. It was like a funeral and then the graveside and then what they call like a mercy meal. It's like the open house.
Open house. It's a meal after all of the things of the day.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Normally it happens at like the church that you're doing. You go down and you have the celebration meal or whatever. So we did that. We got to hang out with a bunch of people and then we went out to dinner later, and I completely forgot that we had to check in, and Christopher was occupied hanging out with his uncle, and then we were in bed at like 11:30. I'm like, "Hey, did you check in?" And he goes, no." I'm like, "Okay." So but now we know. Usually it sends a little notification that's like, "Hey, it's time to check in."
I don't know.
But that time it did not. But it's okay. We're home.
Yep.
We're home. Everything
made
is
it.
great. The plane made it.
That was a very interesting conversation, though, you got to have with the guy that you were sitting with that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Him being an engineer in the automotive safety industry,
I can't
essentially.
remember what it's called.
And just with what he's observed and being on planes all the time, and he's actually had people that he knows in plane crashes.
Yeah,
That,
he said that he was reading it. Sorry, I was excited. You keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay. He said that he had been reading, pardon me, he had been reading some stuff on like planes and why they do certain things certain ways, and he said, and as an engineer, they're like he knows all the stuff that can go wrong, and that's why he sits in the back, because it's proven apparently that the back of the plane is the safest. He said, now why we don't put first class in the back then if it's the safest, I don't know, but
Perception, probably.
it is. Yeah, he said it's completely, he's guessing perception. Plus you get off sooner, you get to sit down sooner. Like it's just the whole thing.
Well, my whole thought about the whole situation is, if they were first class, if I were sitting in first class, I would hate to sit first class if they only have one entrance on the plane, because then everybody's smacking you as they're walking by to get to their seat. And what's the point of getting on first if they're just going to smack you when they're walking by? How about board me last, let me off first?
Yeah, that's what I
Or-
think. Let me just
Or
not sit.
my other thought was have it in the back of the plane, board you first, and then you get to sit in a comfy seat the longest.
Yeah.
You know, And then they can tend to you because usually you get like pre-flight drink or,
Yeah, but then you have
whatever.
to wait a long time for everybody else to get off before you get off.
It's not that long,
Yeah, it's not long.
honestly.
Anyway, so then he was saying it's the safest in like an accident. And there a couple years ago was an accident in Iowa. There was a plane that was trying to land and it hit the runway and like rolled and
End over end or sideways?
sideways, like wingy wing.
Like barrel roll.
Yeah. And one of his friends and his wife were in the back of the plane and they both survived.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was like, so I'm gonna like,
Did they buy lottery tickets afterwards? Are they feeling lucky?
I don't know, you feeling lucky, punk? Well, are ya? So yeah, I was like, okay, I like the back anyway. I've always liked the back.
Well, is
In the
it
plane.
from, high school and being in the back of the bus?
No. I think, I don't know. I just like the back of the plane. Usually the front of the plane is more full.
Right.
And the back of the plane just is a bit more chill.
Maybe.
Unless the entire flight is booked.
Yeah.
Which is what happened on 3 of our 4 flights.
Right. It was nice. Our final flight, even though our ears never popped, we did have an open seat next to us, so we were able to just kind of like spread out and do our thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You did a lot of diagonal sleeping.
Yeah. I was
Exhausted.
whooped.
Big weekend.
It was.
Anywho, so yeah. Couple questions. Tell us about something that you like about travel or that is difficult for travel.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, how are you there for your spouse? And how is your spouse or partner there for you?
Right. Is it the same for both or is it different in different ways?
Yeah.
Right? Just like love languages, because some of it can be physical touch or acts of service, but it may be different for your partner. It may be gifts and I don't know, whatever the other ones are. Words of affirmation. There you go.
Yeah. Any hoot.
I know what yours are, so that's all that matters.
That's what matters.
But short one this week, guys, because we are still recovering from travel and just the busyness of everything. So
I made a really good soup and it's on the stove, so
we got to eat.
I don't think I have. I was trying to look at myself in the thing to see, make sure that I didn't have like flour on my face before we recorded.
Oh, I thought you were just trying to powder your face like the old British people.
So I'm not all greasy. I made spicy sausage soup with, it has a ton of stuff in it. Let me tell you about
Call
it.
it kitchen sink soup.
Let me tell you about it. It has rutabaga, turnip, carrot,
What's a turnip?
parsnip.
Carrot? Huh? What's a turnip carrot?
Comma. Parsnip. Carrot. Did I say carrot? I did.
Yep.
Celery, bok choy, mushroom, homemade egg noodle. There's something else in there.
So all the stuff.
Anywho, just full of like delicious, you know? It's a little bit chilly today, and we're just gonna sit home, watch a movie, eat some soup. I'm so excited. Excited.
Sounds delicious.
Chris comes home and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Making homemade noodles." He's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm just making some homemade noodles." He's like, "Isn't that a lot of work?" I'm like, "Not as much work as it was to cut up like those 27 vegetables."
That's okay.
I like a
will
good
greatly
homemade noodle.
appreciate. I would greatly appreciate it
You're silly.
as I eat it. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.